Hey everyone, Chad with Data Prep U here. Welcome to our live stream of this week's Alteryx weekly challenge. Now, this challenge is number 290, titled Unlock a World of Opportunities. Now, just to be clear on all of these live weekly challenges, I have not pre-configured or pre-solved these challenges. I am doing this live on the fly just so you can see and hear my thought process as I go through this. Now, what we also do as a reminder is welcome everyone to join in, and let's see in the chat what you are actually thinking of yourself. And so as we go through, if I make a mistake, sometimes that might actually happen. I would encourage and would love to have your feedback as well. So let us know. Okay, let's go ahead and shrink myself down just a little bit. Let's read through the challenge that we actually have here. So this challenge, 290, Unlock a World of Opportunity, states that this is a special challenge. This is more of a scavenger hunt, more of a little kind of a riddle. This week, the Alteryx certification team has put together a special challenge that will put your core skills to the test using a data set compiling a portion of the core certification passing exam attempts from the last or past 2 years. You will solve 7 clues to find the hidden word. And then with the bonus challenge, discover the ultimate message from the certification team. This data set represents community users from all over the world that have passed the core certification exam and earned their core badge. Percentages have been randomly generated and they are not actual exam results. The hint is for each clue you answer, make sure to label the column answer. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, I've got to say, sometimes I get a little nervous, especially on these live builds. So let's go ahead and do this. Let's open up the package. But yeah, I get a little bit nervous on some of these live builds because what happens if I can't figure it out? Well, you know what? The reality is there are going to be challenges that we come across that we can't figure out, and we're then left to our own devices to try to figure those out, or honestly phoning a friend, reaching out to others. That's why we encourage all of the communication within that chat window as well. So in this case, so here we have our 7 different clues, it looks like, so all broken out by different tool containers. Then here we have the actual certification results. So in the last key here, so here's a code as well for some reason. So here we have an answer with a letter. So we're trying to come up with a specific answer that seems to correspond to a specific letter. And so there's clue number 6. It did say there were 7 clues 7 clues to find the hidden word. And then with the bonus challenge, discover the ultimate message from the certification team. So in this case, let's go ahead and just begin. Clue number 1, the number of countries with 1 core certification badge earned total. So just because of the way that this is set up, I want to take an approach where I'm going to have the data set up in every single container the exact same way, because each one of these appear to potentially start from scratch because they're all going to be slightly different. So I'm going to actually take the select tool here, and we're going to continue to actually build out or kind of drop these select tools in each of the containers. And all this is going to do is just give me a jumping off point, to be perfectly honest, where I can actually just start by dragging these select tools down, dumping them into my container so I'm not constantly scrolling back and forth, really trying to avoid just constant scrolling, especially from a video perspective. It's really not that fun for everyone if you just experience all of this constant scrolling. I'm curious what we have over here. Ooh, here's the bonus challenge over here. Join the previous find replace tool, clue number 7, to the lookup table message. So again, I'm only seeing 6 clues here, so I don't know if I missed something or if maybe part of this, oh, here we go. Clue number 7 is over on the right hand side here. Okay, so just kind of a little odd bit. So let's go ahead and once again, let's go ahead and connect our select tools. Okay, and starting with clue number 1, the number of countries with 1 core certification badge earned total. So I think this is going to be relatively straightforward because here we have all of our different countries. Let's go ahead and do a quick summarize here based on that country. We're going to do a group by, and then honestly at this point just a quick count, and then we're going to do a quick filter here where we're going to do a count equals 1. Do we actually have count equals 1 here? We do. So we have a count equals 1, and because we're looking for a count, a number of countries with the core certification badge earned, let's go ahead and do one more summarize here. And now there are a couple of different ways where we could do this, but we're literally just going to do a quick count of records, and we're going to call this one answer because it very specifically said in our hint, for each clue you answer, make sure to label the column answer. So here, answer of 12, which means that our very first, if we look at our key here, if we try to look for the number 12, now the bonus, I think, part of my own personal bonus, so 12 starts with a C. Part of my own personal bonus is I'm going to actually do a join based on that count at the end and kind of put everything together. And just out of curiosity, yeah, join the previous find replace tool to look up to the lookup table message and then connect it to the formula tool to figure out the ultimate message. Okay, so yeah, that's exactly what we're actually going to be working through. Okay, so clue number 2, the sum of all numeric versions, example 19.1, divided by the number, okay, numeric versions, okay, divided by the number of distinct designer versions. So this is something that I'm interested in, because here we have the version, just the numeric piece of this, divided by the number of distinct designer versions. So numeric versions divided by the number of distinct designer versions. So the sum of all numeric versions. So the first thing I need to do is just double check. It looks like everything is all the same length. I want to do a quick check though, and I'm going to go in and I want to do a quick double check, and let's just call this one length really quick. And in our expression, we're actually going to take the length of, let's say, the link name, because that actually has the version of what we have here. The reason why I'm doing this is because I want to do a quick double check on my length. Does everything equal 26? It looks like everything equals 26. The reason why I'm doing this is because in reality, what I want to do is just take out the actual version. So I just did that as like a quick little piece here. So quick little version, and we're going to do the right, and then we're going to do link name, and the right 4 characters, because the 4 characters, not that, there we go, right 4 characters should be the version number, the decimal, and the final piece. So let's just do a quick check here. So we got a version throughout. Okay, great. So it was the sum of all numeric versions, 19.1, divided by the number of distinct designer versions. So we need to do a couple of different things. So the first thing we need to do is do a sum of all the versions, which means that we also need to change this over to a double data type. So let's change that to a double, so we can go through now, right, link name 4. Oh, and we probably need to also do to number, because in this particular case, we're going to change things up just a little bit. So there we go. Now we do a right to number. Now we actually have the version. So we want to do a sum of the version divided by the number of distinct versions. So we also want to look at the count distinct option in the formula tool. So that should give us our 2 values here. So next we're going to do just a quick little formula. So where we're going to take the sum of those versions, and we're going to call this answer. And we're going to do sum of version divided by count distinct of the version. And then it says round down your final answer. So even though this, in our particular case, is rounded up, so that's kind of interesting. The version divided by 7 is that really 58,000? Looks like that might be 58,000, which is interesting because something does not seem completely right there, because I'm pretty confident that in our exam, in our core here, we do not have 58,000 in there. So I might have missed something. The sum of all of the numeric versions, let's look at this again. So here we have 19.1 divided by the number of distinct designer versions. So yeah, something's not quite adding up in here. I'm wondering if what it actually means is the numeric version is like 19.1.2.3.4.5, and then the distinct designer versions. Yeah, it seems something's not completely adding up here based on the description that I actually have. So we might have to come back to this and try to figure that out. So let's try to figure out clue number 3. So I'm going to actually take this, I'm going to flag my fill color here as red just for fun, because that's actually going to tell me, it's something that I often do whenever I'm in development mode, is figuring out and telling me what of these do I still need to come back and figure out. So I need to still figure out clue number 2. So clue number 3, find the mode of the city and count the total of characters in the city name. Okay, so this one's relatively straightforward. So mode is one of the few numeric values under the numeric key here that is available for string data type. So here we have the mode, and then what the next thing it says, it's going to count the total number of characters in that city name. So a quick little run here, and we have New York is the mode. That's the one that is used the most. So at this point, all we really need to do is, again, do another length, but we're going to call this one answer. And this is going to be the length here, and it's going to be the mode, length of the city mode. So we have 8. So this one, the answer is 8. All right, excellent. Clue number 4, the lowest record ID of all certifications earning a percentage of 95.4. So this one seems to be relatively straightforward. I'm curious if I just take a quick filter and take that percentage and then make that equals 95.4 first. How many of these do we have? We actually have several, okay? And then the next piece is we could do a couple things. We could do a sort, we could do a sample. I'm actually going to take a summarize in this case, because the summarize will allow me to take that percentage and then just do a min of this, and we're going to rename this and call it answer. All right, what do we have? Whoops, I think I did that completely wrong, because I needed to do the min of the record ID, not of the percentage. That's where I messed up there. So here we go. There, min of record ID, that's going to be the answer. Okay, the minimum record ID that we have is 43. Is that actually an answer that we have in our code? There are some higher answers for sure, and yes, 43 is in there. All right, so next, clue number 5, the number of badges from the country with the most badges earned. Okay, so then to get the answer, divide it by the total number of countries in the data set. So we need a couple of different things in here. So first thing we need to do is actually take those countries, and we're going to do a group by on the countries. And then we actually need to take, there should be some sort of a, is there a badge count? So that's interesting, because it's saying something about badges. I don't see anything about badges, unless it's just talking about core certification badges, which could very well be it. Okay. Could just be the core certification in general. So that would mean that, again, it's going to be a country and then another count on top of that. So that would essentially tell us how many core certification badges there are. Okay, so then at this point we need to do a quick little sort and a sample. So we could take that sort right there. We're going to sort on that count, descending a sample where we're actually taking the first one row, which means that the United States has the top number of badges of 8,027. And then we want to take that and divide it by the total number of countries in the data set. So we also could take this, what I'm going to do is actually do a count distinct of the countries within here. So then we can actually do a quick little append. Again, we're doing this kind of more dynamically, so I'm going to take the append here. And on this particular piece, I do not want the source country or the count. I want only the count, the distinct, and I'm going to call this total countries. All right. So then we have, what do we have? More than 16 records, so allow all appends. And in this case, we have those count distincts. We have the group by. Oh, yep, did not do that particular piece correct. We're going to do that just with a base summarize tool here, making that a little simpler. And then we'll just do a count distinct because we had that grouping in there. I do not want that grouping associated with that append. Because that's going to make things get a little crazy. So here we have the count of the US, total countries right here. So our final answer in this situation. We're going to call this answer. And reminder, we're going to do the count divided by total countries, which is 81. And it looks like we may even have a little bit, so that's really going to be 82. Does 82 actually exist in our code? It does. So there's a L in there. So I'm going to call this 82. We're going to also do a round on the 82 there. And does this actually, I'll probably want to actually make this a integer as well. So we're doing the count divided by total countries. Oh, and I need to actually tell us to the nearest one. That's what we want. So that's just rounding up or down. Doesn't really do anything other than just like give us a straight up rounded answer there. So we have our answer of 82. Clue number 6, the total number of badges earned in Egypt. So this one's relatively straightforward in that. Let's just do a quick little filter. Okay. So it looks like based on the country here, we have countries all over the globe, which is always super, super cool to see. So what I want to do is just make this pretty simple and move that to Egypt, where we have several. And then at this point, let's do one more count here. Oh, you know what I also have to do? Something that I realized that I'm not taking into account. You know what we need to do for the total number of badges? Let me do a quick check here. Do we have a situation where I can actually say that percentage is greater than or equal to 80? Because remember, this is sneaky. Okay, in this case, we're okay. All right, but the badges earned. The badge is only earned if you get 80%, and this is something that I'm just now realizing, okay? So what we want to do is actually then total number of badges earned in Egypt. We did a quick little filter. So we're just going to do a count, and we're going to call this our answer as well, which is the total is 56 badges earned in Egypt. Super cool. Number of badges. This is another situation where I want to take that filter. I'm going to do this beforehand. And I'm going to also do that percentage is greater than or equal to, in this case, 80, because that's going to change things up a little bit, or that could change things up. Okay, looks like everything is okay. So the data was set up pretty well. Was there another number of badge earned total? How many of these are in here that may potentially have, and I'm just doing this out of an abundance of caution. So just so everyone is aware, so greater than or equal to 80, checking that. Okay, so we're actually in good shape. All right, so we have number 6. What is the final answer? The final clue, number 7. Find and replace the answers with the provided lookup table code and name the column result. All right, so we just need to actually do you know what I'm going to do? So find and replace the answers with the provided lookup table code. Okay, and then name the column result. So we're going to do this, or we could do this a couple of different ways, because yes, there's the find and replace, where we could take the value coming from code. Key item in here though is the code. If we're looking up that answer by default, if we actually put a select tool after this, it shows up as a byte. Find replace can only search for string values. Okay, so something to keep in mind there. Find replace can only search for string values. So the first thing we need to do is actually change these values to a string. Okay, so let's go back up here. I'm going to go actually, clue number 7 is down just a little bit. Still need to figure out the other one. Okay, so we actually do not need this select, because we need to take all of the actual results at this point and do a couple of different things. So if we want to do a true find replace, I want to stack this data together. And so we're actually going to rename these. I'm going to actually call this one answer 1. All right. And then this one, even though this one is not correct yet, we're going to do answer 2. I'm just going to update all of these so far. And there's a reason why, is because once we start getting into some of these results, answer 3, this one's going to be answer 4. And this final one is going to be, or not quite final, answer 5. And then here we have our then answer 6. What I'm going to do is, so we've got all of these kind of set up as answer, 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 answer. Now, what I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to take each one of these, and I know this is going to sound kind of weird, but I promise it's going to actually work out. I'm going to take a transpose route on this, all right? Because I want my answer itself. There's a couple reasons why. So what I want is I want there to be a name value. I want a consistent name value pair. So answer 1, value. Answer 2, value. And then what I'm going to do is actually start unioning all of these together. All right. So there's number 1, there's number 2, there's number 3, except number 3, I also need to throw in that transpose as well. So number 3 in here, and I'm not doing any sort of key columns within these. All right. And you'll see exactly why in just a moment here. So transpose here. So we've got answer, 4. And then finally, on answer 6, let's go ahead and drop this in. A couple of these I may need to add even just a select tool in here. Did that go in? Yeah, we got number 6 in. All right, so here we go. We should have just a name and value. Prior to that transpose, though, the only single thing that I want is that answer. So I'm going to do one more. This is kind of an iterative process, too. So here I do not want any of the count distinct. I don't want any of the version information prior to the transpose. I don't want the mode in here. What I'm looking for is just one single, clean, nicely clean data set. So get rid of country, count, all of this. And then finally on our last one, I don't think I'm going to need this one right here. So that last bit should give us 6 results only. Answer 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that's it with those values. Remember, answer 2 is still kind of funky, all right? However, what we can do is we can still build the framework, all right? Because now we have the framework for everything. We have our clue. I'm going to go ahead and drop this in so I can finally go into a join, look for that find, replace in here. And what we're going to do is we're going to do the entire field, so it's kind of more of an exact match. And we're going to take that value, find within value, and then we're also going to look up then the answer. All right, and we're not going to do an in-place replacement in this case. I want to do a letter. And then finally, actually here, let's take this sort, and I want to set a specific output order, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the reason why is because then we have C null EDLY. I think I can guess what this actually means. But now if I actually take a nice little crosstab in here, and then I do a no groupings because there should only be one. If I need to, I can create kind of like a dummy group, but I want to actually take as my name for the new column headers. The value is going to be the actual letter, and we're going to do a concatenate in here. So without doing any grouping, it's C blank EDLY. There's another nice way of doing this. Actually, here, let me back this up. So another nice way of doing this without actually having an answer or an answer key, kind of like most of the weekly challenge, is just to take that letter and let's concatenate this. So let's go to our string functions and then do concatenate with no separator whatsoever. And so what that is CEDLY. So my guess, and what is actually happening here, if you have not realized this, if you have not noticed, Alteryx just recently announced a partnership with Credly. And what that means is your certification badges are official. They've always been official on the Alteryx community, but Credly is accepted widely among organizations all over the world. So that number 2 that I missed out on is supposed to be the letter R for some reason, is what my guess is in here, which if we actually go to our key, I should have gotten 20 somehow. So somehow I completely missed the boat on this. And all of the numeric versions, 19.1, so summing all of these. So it might even be summing the unique versions of those and then divided by the distinct versions. So it could be something like that, which I'm sure we could probably figure this out. Ultimately, the answer is supposed to be 20 on that one. So I'd love to see in the comments, I'd love to hear you as well. Did you end up getting 20 in that? All right. Now the bonus in this particular case, I'm going to leave this up to you. I'm not going to help solve this for you. But join the previous find replace tool to the lookup table message over here, and then connect it to the formula tool to figure out your ultimate message from the certification team. And I'm pretty sure that based on this formula tool, if the answer equals a confirmation, then it's not bragging. If you can back it up, get your Alteryx certification badge on Credly on October 19th. Otherwise, or else, check your challenge. So yes, I missed number 2, but ultimately what's going to go on is that confirmation. If we actually had this set up properly, confirmation here, joining this and connecting to our actual answer, we missed out on the R, everything else we got. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for those of you who stuck around. Once again, my name is Chad Martin. If you enjoyed this, if you liked hearing me talk through how I come up with a solution, please don't forget to like and subscribe as always. If you want to be notified when we start these live challenges or these live situations, please go ahead and hit that little bell, and that's going to notify you when we start these live streams just like this. Otherwise, happy weekly challenge day from all of us here at Data Prep U. I hope you have a wonderful week, and we've only got a couple of weeks left until Halloween, so lots of fun